Hey everybody, Danny here with another running shoe video. Today we are going to be looking at a couple pairs of shoes that carry the name Ride. Today we are going to be looking at the Saucony Ride 14 and the Skechers Gorun Ride 9. So let's take a look at the tongue down at some of the details on the shoe. Both shoes are neutral daily trainers. So the Saucony has an 8mm offset, 32mm of foam in the rear, 24mm of foam in the front. They use their Power Run foam in this shoe, and it also has a nice engineered mesh upper with a gusseted tongue. You can see the outsole has a nice, very generous layers of tread along the bottom. Saucony is weighing in at 9.4 ounces. Okay, now let's take a comparison at the Skechers Gorun Ride 9. Again, neutral daily trainer. This one has a 6mm drop. So this shoe has 34mm of stack in the rear and 28mm of stack in the front. This tongue is non-gusseted, however it does have the lacing interlined into the tongue. It has a knit engineered mesh upper, hyperburst foam, and on the outsole it is accompanied by Goodyear rubber. Alright, so let's talk about some of the similarities of the shoes themselves. Again, these are both neutral daily trainers, so we'll do the wiggle test on these shoes. This one has a nice little bit of wiggle to it. This one has that hyperburst foam, which actually with the Goodyear rubber, this actually tightens it up a little more than I expected. So very similar on the wiggle test. They both have a decent amount of wiggle to them, but they're not really loose as you would get maybe with some of the neutral shoes out there. Both of the uppers are very similar. You have engineered mesh uppers that are very similar in breathability. The feel, very similar as well. These should both have pretty sturdy heel counters to them. This one, definitely not a whole lot of give to it. It's got a lot of support. You could even feel it in here. It is a very, very supportive heel counter. Back here with this one, same story. Down low, they've got a decent amount of support here. Not a whole lot of give. So both of these shoes, again, have a nice supportive heel counter to them. All right, so let's go over some of the differences between the two shoes. First thing we'll go ahead and talk about, obviously we addressed it a little bit, the tongue is slightly different. You have a gusseted tongue in this shoe, but no lacing interweaved into the tongue. Whereas this one, non-gusseted tongue, but it does have the lacing system that is tied into the tongue to keep it in here. You can also feel the tongue in this shoe is a lot more thin as compared to the Saucony. This one is definitely much more plush. All right, so let's go over a major difference in the shoe, and that's going to be the ride. Saucony shoe has a very, very traditional ride, I guess you could say. It lands nice and flat, so as it goes through that gait cycle, this one probably really good for heel strikers. Whenever you strike, it has a nice, soft, but just really absorbing cushion here in the rear, and then it transitions well through your gait cycle. The Skechers, on the other hand, has a very different feel underneath. This one has almost, you could say, a rockered bottom to it. So you can see it even here that when the shoe is flat, you can see space between the bottom and the front. So when you're walking around in this shoe, it feels a little strange. You feel that you're missing the connection to the ground here in the back. And then as you're going through the gait cycle, it feels pretty good. Now, once you're running in this shoe, I feel that it feels pretty normal. This shoe really encourages midfoot striking. So by having that lift on the back, it really does kind of pull up your foot a little bit when you strike, so it encourages a midfoot strike. And as you come down on it, it does absorb that as well. So you land a little more midfoot and then just nicely roll through your gait cycle here. So it'll definitely come down to personal preference if you're looking at either of the shoes, how the ride will feel. Like I said, when I walk around in this shoe, it doesn't feel quite traditional, but when you're running in the shoe, I feel that's where it really has the advantage of propelling you through that gait cycle and just naturally turning your feet over. And like I said, with the Saucony, much more traditional with the landing. I think it's really good for heel strikers, lots of cushion in the back in the heel, and just progresses nicely through the gait cycle. So final thoughts on the shoe. Again, we're looking at the Gorun Ride 9 from Skechers and the Ride 14 from Saucony. Both of these are going to be great daily trainers. Both of them have wonderful upsides to them. Again, the Saucony is going to be more of your traditional shoe where it has just that natural feel to it that you get with a lot of the shoes out on the market. The Skechers, it's going to be a little different if you've never run in a Skechers shoe before. It might take a little getting used to. Both great options for your daily training needs. So if you liked the video today, like, subscribe, and hopefully continue to bring you more information about the shoes that we love to run in. Thanks again.